All right, today we're diving deep into Facebook ad creative testing, and most marketers get this completely wrong. And because of that, their ad account gets stuck and scaling becomes nearly impossible. But when you run creative testing the right way, scaling to 1K, 10K, even 30K a day in ad spend profitably isn't just doable, it becomes predictable. So in this video, I'm gonna walk you through my exact creative testing frameworks, the exact same ones we use to scale brands consistently on Facebook ads. So whether you're a complete beginner or a seasoned media buyer, by the end of this video, you'll have the full system. And before we jump in, what do you think of the new office setup? Drop a comment below and let me know. And if you follow me on Instagram at @RealChaseChappell, you've probably seen the new HQ that we just recently built. And if you want a full behind the scenes tour, let me know in the comments below. So now let's get into the strategy. So here we are, this is the ad creative funnel breakdown in the framework that we have been using with clients to be able to scale them up significantly. And what most people get wrong about this is they think that, just having one creative is going to be the answer to being able to scale to multiple 100K months and be able to get them all the way through. But what most people end up finding out is after that creative fatigues out, their campaigns tank and they were only relying on one creative specifically. And not only that, but their messaging and the way they go about testing isn't necessarily set up in the right approach to be able to appeal to people at each different buyer stage. And that's exactly what we're gonna be covering today. And some of you may have heard of this, but top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel is a part of this strategy. But specifically, what a lot of people miss is whenever we do creative testing, before we get into the funnel breakdown, there's always going to be different ad creative formats that we want to test. This is where you're going to have new ideas, new formats. You're going to try UGC style videos, review-based, comparisons. This is where your testing begins. And you're going to do this in a separate creative testing campaign. The reason for this is because whenever you test new creatives, if you put them in a campaign that's already been running, you're going to likely see that those creatives aren't going to get a lot of spend and all of your budget is just going to go to one creative anyways and doesn't really give your new creatives a fair shot at being able to be tested. So that's why we separate the campaign. We'll put them in a totally separate audience. That way, only new creatives are being tested there. Now, there's a lot of benefits to doing this. One is they're gonna get dedicated spending, but also you're not going to disturb a proven campaign. And what I mean by this is, let's say you have a really solid campaign and you drop in a new creative. Well, if that new creative is not very good and it ends up getting spend, you can pretty much tank your campaign performance or reset your learning phase, which is not a good thing to do. So you always want to test new ideas separately. And once they are proven, getting a good consistent ROAS, multiple purchases, you can migrate them over into your interest testing campaign. And that is what we're going to be doing. All new creative ideas will be tested separately and migrated over. And now to break down the actual creative funnel testing strategy, we have top of funnel campaigns. And this is where people end up discovering you and they find out about your product. And this is where you help them become aware of what it is that you're selling. And you want to get them educated. And that's so they can find you, they can become aware of what you're selling, and now they're also learning exactly what it is that your product does. And you can do this by having a founder story-based creative where you as the founder can share why you started the business, what are the benefits of the products, the shortcomings that you've had to overcome in order to achieve some of the success you've had as a business owner, so that way people feel personally connected. And people love to discover new founders who are starting new brands every day, which is why this would be in one of our top of funnel campaigns. And then we're gonna have viral style UGC. This is where you follow viral trends, you make viral based videos that are very popular, and you even use influencers or creators to be able to make these videos for you. And so as you can see, we can watch one of these videos.
All right, it's summer, which means that I'm up in Washington, which also means that I've been teaching nonstop every single day, which is why I've been keeping Grunes in my golf bag lately. These aren't just a multivitamin. They're not just a prebiotic.
So this is a golfing influencer and he's talking about Grunes, the product. So that's a viral style UGC, which is user generated content. With UGC content, you can run ads from their page, which allows you to be discovered by new people. And those people already trust that individual. So therefore you're going to have a better chance at getting more people aware of your product and potentially buying. Next up is problem solution. So a lot of times people, if they don't know you, they need to understand what it is you're selling. And the best way to do that is by introducing a specific problem that they have and positioning your product as that solution.
Menopause hit me really hard. My metabolism slowed down. Suddenly it was gaining weight no matter what I did. And don't even get me started with the bloating and constipation. On top of that, I started a GLP-1 medication to help with the weight loss. But while it reduced my appetite, it also made it harder to eat enough, especially fiber. So now I wasn't getting enough nutrients that my body needed, and I was dealing with digestive issues. But then I found Groons.
Okay, so now you can see she's stating multiple problems that she faced, and she started to introduce the adversity and how she began to overcome that, but kind of faced a conflict, which would be a different, medication or product that she tried. And then shortly after, she was introduced to Groons, which solved her specific issue. So now the person viewing this video might self-identify and feel for this individual and feel like they're in the same position or have faced similar challenges. And now Groons is becoming something they discovered, and they're going to want to end up trying this product, which is going to help you drive sales. Next up is value-based education. Because people don't know about your product, you want to educate them with the features of it, the benefits, the outcomes, what it is. And quite literally, we have a creative here that says, did you know Groons Cubs come in a sugar-free and low-sugar option? So people might have looked at this product but did not know that specific thing. So this is where value-based education comes in. You want to bring people through a buyer's journey because it helps develop them along the way to eventually be able to get more sales down the line, and it helps you build up your top of funnel so that way we can move into some of these lower brackets to get them to convert and scale up our return on ad spend. And then we have a fact and statistic, which helps with the logical-based thinkers who make decisions based off of logic. And 85% of kids are deficient in critical nutrients. Some people might not know that, so they're going to have piqued curiosity. And so how do they solve that? Well, fill this gap with Groons. Once again, positioning this as a solution. And then for people who are interested in protein, improve protein utilization by up to 67%. This is another statistic that they have. So if the sugar-free angle doesn't work, well, we have one that's based on nutrients. If nutrients angle doesn't work, we have one that's based on protein. Every person's different and what they're interested in is different, so you want to come at them at different angles. And the way you do that is through your creative testing, and once you find those angles that are working, what do? You bring them over to your interest testing. Interest testing is where your proven creatives are, and you scale them up in your top of funnel. And your Advantage Plus is whenever you're ready to really crank up spend, you're basically putting in your 10 to 15 best creatives, and that is where you have evergreen and you can really scale up. Now, with top of funnel, you're gonna have learn more CTAs because people are learning about your product. You're gonna have shop now CTAs because people are discovering you through videos, problem-based and value-based, and are going to be interested in shopping with you. That is the first layer of campaigns. The next layer is middle of funnel. And this is where people really consider you and you start to help them overcome objections. So they've already watched a few of these videos maybe, they've discovered your product, they've heard about it. Now you really just want to build trust with them so that way they feel comfortable with buying and they really are bought into the fact of what you're selling. And so what are some of the ways that you do this? Well, this is going to be through credibility. This is going to be through social proof. This is going to be through trust building. And that is all done through review-based ad creatives where we have 40,000 plus 5-star reviews. That's a pretty compelling stat. And feed your muscle fibers where we have 3 key benefits of the product. And then we have another one, which is a review-based. And we have somebody in the background, which is a kid who is holding the product so that way we can build trust. Before and afters. People want to know what the before is and what the after is. So these are AI generated. These are pretty simple to do. We have a video here.
In just 5 seconds a day, I transformed my child's health. After giving just 1 pack of...
There you go. In just 5 seconds a day, that is a phenomenal hook. I've transformed my child's health. Okay. Comparisons. Comparing Groons against other competitors out there. This is another way because if people are already familiar with that brand and they're considering other alternatives, well, now they're also learning that Groons might have better nutrition health or, different options that are more readily available that are going to benefit them in a much better way. So we want to compare it to others if we truly have a better product. And then product demos is where you kind of show them how the product works. So they've discovered you, they're interested in it, but now they're like, okay, what is Groons? Is it a gummy? Is it a powder? How do you consume it? What is the time frame? People love details. So this is where you can be very detail oriented and really break down the specifics of how often you take it, why it matters, when you're using it, how your specific routine works. This builds trust and this makes people comfortable to buy. You're gonna have shop now CTAs in the middle of funnel, and this is going to be your video viewers anybody who's watched a video on your social media, engaged with an ad, anybody who's been on your IG, Facebook, TikTok, or even visited your website but maybe has not bought. The next layer of this is the bottom of funnel, and this is where people have maybe added to cart, they've really considered it, they almost purchased, or they have made a purchase but they haven't came back in a while, and because this is a consumable, we want them to buy. And this is where we start to really milk out the conversions and can get those crazy juicy ROASes of 5, 10, 15x plus. And you do this through special offers. So if people have purchased from you in the past, well, on Father's Day, on special holidays, you can do a special deal where you give a % off and get a ton of customers to come back and buy your product. And this is really good to milk out all the sales because you have maybe millions of views across all your ads and social media, and maybe not every single person has bought, a portion of them have, but this Father's Day deal is the opportunity for them to try the product that they've been hearing all about for the last few weeks, months, or year that they have not purchased, but they've considered it. Now they have an opportunity at 52% off to jump in and try it, and you can then hook that customer for life. Another angle is lose weight, not your metabolism, and then save up to 52%. This is a limited drop where this could work really well for current buyers that are big believers in the product, and now they found out about this new drop, and this is their chance to try this new product at a discount. This is a great way to get people to cross-sell into your other product lines. Now, the still interested based ads. These are where people have engaged with your content. They've been watching, they're a skeptic. Maybe they don't want to spend the money. They've considered it. This is where we have carousel ads, dynamic ads, where we straight up are just very direct with them. Why have you not bought our product? We saw you added to cart, but you have not purchased. Are you still interested? You're missing out on all the fun. You can see where this comes in, where we be very direct and we just straight up ask, why have you not tried our product? And here's a special offer that'll help you if you just do it today. And this is our final calling card to get people to buy. And those actually get pretty stellar ROAS, believe it or not. And then urgency. Urgency is important because people have been watching all the content for all this time, and now we need to apply the pressure. Why have they not purchased from us? Well, we're gonna give them a reason today because we're only going to give you this offer for a limited time only. You have 24, 48, 72 hours to buy this product and try it today at 52% off. And if you don't take this deal, you're not gonna get it again, and you're gonna have to pay full price later on if you decide you want to buy this. So that is also gonna help us urgently move people through the funnel at the bottom and get them to convert. And the bottom of funnel campaigns are here to recover people. If they have not purchased, it's to convert them, and it's also to build loyalty, get subscribers on these deals. And this is where you use get offer CTAs and shop now CTAs. And if you set up your campaigns this way and actually plug in the creatives based off each part of the funnel in the correct way, you're going to see a much higher conversion rate, better AOVs, a more streamlined flow-through approach. You're not going to be burning out your creatives very quickly, and you're going to be able to scale much further and much higher than you have ever believed. That is how we can start to really ramp up our sales volume and achieve high velocity ROAS. So I highly recommend playing this video back again to fully understand this and get your campaign set up the right way. And if you're interested in learning all the frameworks and systems we have in e-commerce that we use to help scale brands significantly on Facebook, TikTok, Shopify, everything from the tools, the email, the SMS flows, the ads, everything in between, then definitely be sure to watch this next video here. And once again, it's your favorite digital marketer, Chase Chappell. Cheers and bye all.